smelling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it take a swim, only option is to win.
Well, welcome everybody to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank podcast. We had a great show today. We talked a little bit with Steve Maloof, our guest, about the food business. And on our show, we had Catherine Bates, we had Tom Glover, and Steve and his company, justpureflavors.com. And I want to encourage everyone to download a complete replay of the show. You can do that at houston.shrimptankpodcast.com. And this was an excellent show. We got into a number of different things, and we just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an idea in the post-show wrap-up of some of the things that we talked about. And Steve, we talked about some of your core tenets and keys to your success, and one of the things that you talked about was innovation. And I think Tom might have described you a little bit about mad scientist. You have these different jams and specialty unique flavors, and you sell these with these jams all over the world. From sheiks,
bacon and fruit, you know.
I don't know what came to me one day. I was like, wow, that's a perfect combination.
That's so cool. So tell us a little bit about how innovation is one of the cornerstones of your business.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Well, I think innovation from a small business standpoint is really based in the idea that you have a mindset that you already kind of are moving into. You've kind of trained yourself to think of things a little bit differently. How can I do this differently? What is it that could be done better about a product design or some type of a product that you're thinking about? And with jam, as in professional jam making, it's art and science, a combination of art and science with professional jam making. And so a lot of times what you're trying to create is something that is mainstream, relatively mainstream, so that you have really a customer for your product, but at the same time you're trying to create something that's unusual and unique, and it's a very difficult kind of a line to walk with that. You have to, appeal to customers, basic mainstream flavor interests at the same time that you're making something that's unique, and they're going to think, wow, that's great, I never would have thought of that.
But how do you train yourself? You said you kind of train yourself. Like how do you get creative?
Well, a lot of it comes directly from my customers, Dan. That's a big focus.
A feedback
loop directly from my customers. They talk to me. They say, this would be a great product.
Have you thought of this?
Have you thought? Exactly. That's exactly a lot of
cool
where
about what he does. He's at the farmer's market. His customers and all the products are right there. You're interacting directly.
Yes.
You get instant feedback.
You
really.
do, yes. And that's a very helpful thing to have. Exactly, Tom. Instant feedback from your customers shortens my product design loop and significantly. Sometimes if a customer suggests something to me, I can have the product
for them. Just occurred to me, we're the guinea pigs. When you try something new, all of us that are attending the farmer's market, right?
But have you
looked at
Have you looked at some of these other businesses that are actually through Facebook and other platforms and forums? They're soliciting their clients for ideas. They're asking their clients, tell us what you want. I've noticed that in other businesses. I think that's really cool.
Corporations spend millions of dollars in getting customer surveys done and all the feedback stuff. Net promoter score. I mean, so
giving the customer what they want.
But who could tell you better than your own customers? So I think that's a key component. And Tom, you had something you wanted to ask.
So the things that was interesting to me about your business. So you started up on a low budget. You have products that are totally off the wall. Figs and brandy, bacon and jalapeno. You don't sell in stores. You don't have a physical location, a building.
And he says it's like the most expensive, right?
Yeah,
he's
like
$12
for a little tiny, but people buying it left and right, and you've
like
been profitable
crazy
from day one.
Yes.
So my question is, how do you do that?
Well, I think a lot of it's just that you kind of have to have the idea that the traditional business models are changing dramatically in terms of what makes a business profitable and how people want to spend their money and the kind of products that they really want to buy. With my company, it's the jam business is relatively, it's something that you go to the grocery store and you have a choice of 4 or 5 or 6 different products, but it's really, over the past few years, there's been a relative explosion of a lot of different new design concepts that come through small companies like mine, I think, to some degree. But yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing where innovation comes from your your mindset with
So
that.
do you have to worry about intellectual property? So your recipes, do you have a way to protect them, or somebody could reproduce that like a Smucker's? And
That's a really good question, and I've considered that a number of different times. When it comes to product design, there are no laws that particularly protect a recipe. You can't, per se, you can't copyright a recipe, that type of a thing. So a lot of it comes down to, just you design a product. For instance, the bacon jalapeno jam. I was the first person to design that product, and there have been a number of different copies of that product made over the
really?
past 2 to 3 years.
What did Cuban said? He said, first come the innovators.
Right.
We're talking about innovation.
Yep.
Then come the imitators.
Exactly.
And then come what?
I don't know.
The idiots. Like, you got a good idea.
Yeah.
They're going to copy it. They're going to come after you. And
Right.
so in regards to innovation, there's a business concept called creative destruction. And what creative destruction about is tearing your business down top to bottom every 3 years and trying to innovate like crazy and stay ahead of your business.
Exactly.
Stay ahead of all these people that are going to be chasing you and nipping at your tail and biting you. So we did get into quite a bit of this in the show. It was a fabulous show. I want to encourage everybody to download the complete replay at houston.shrimptankpodcast.com. Steve, tell our listeners, how would someone get in touch with you? They want to try some of this cool exotic stuff that you sell to sheiks all over the world, and that's we're about to try some right now. So
Samples are
we have samples,
up.
and
coming up.
So tell us how to get in touch with you and
Okay.
how our listeners can learn more about justpureflavors.com.
Great. Well, we do attend 3 markets around Houston every week. The Tomball Farmers Market from 9 to 1 every Saturday. We also attend the Cypress Market at Bridgeland every second Sunday, and we attend the West Chase District Market every Thursday from 3 to 7. JustPureFlavors.com is where you can buy my products online.
Which
Just-
of those markets is the best or the biggest?
Tomball.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Come on, how do we get a phone number if a listener, because we have young aspiring entrepreneurs that listen to our show. Our show is part of the entrepreneurship degree program at Sam Houston State University. If that young person says, "Hey, I'm a student right now, but I have an idea, of my family business or going into business. I'm interested in the food business." You would, of course, take a phone call and
Of course I would, yeah.
offer some of your knowledge and wisdom. Give us a cell phone number for you so
It's
that we.
I'm sorry, Dan. Yeah, 281-702-0905.
Fabulous. So thank you so much, Steve, for being on the
Thank you, Dan.
show.
Appreciate the
Really
opportunity.
enjoyed it. It's a fabulous
Thank you,
show.
Tom.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom, for being on the show. And catch us next week. Don't forget, download a complete replay of the show at houston.shrimptankpodcast.com.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank.